Welcome back, entrepreneurs. As we are about to get into the logistical side of building an art business, let's take a moment beforehand to focus in on 3 core elements that every artist needs to succeed. Stay with me. So what might those 3 core elements be? And how can simply knowing them lead you to a clearer understanding of your business flow? If this is your first time joining me, hey, welcome. I'm JetFalco, and I'm in the process of developing my own business centering around my art, so it's become a passion of mine to share what I'm learning with like-minded people who want to build a business around their art. Any kind of art. As long as you have something unique to offer the community, I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that you building your business from the ground up goes as smoothly as possible. But before we start building upward, we gotta make sure that ground is sturdy. So welcome, entrepreneurs. Let's spend some time discovering a little bit more of what it takes to find that success. And as always, announcer dude, you're up.
All views expressed within this content are based on the creator's opinion and experience and facts so cited. The viewer's own experience is based on their own drive, hard work, and determination.
Wow, man,
Results may
you are
vary.
getting fast at that.
I got you.
Entrepreneurs, here's number 1. The first core element is the draw. It is the gift. It could be the talent. It is the learned skills acquired to pull you into chasing that career. This is the spark that it all starts with. And since most of us simply start with a pen and paper or a crayon and paper as kids, I've simply titled this one, The Draw. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it centers around art skills or literal drawing per se. But if you do think about it, doesn't just about anything start with just a simple sketch or an outline brainstorm, a list of ideas, or a blueprint or schematic? Most creatives today agree that when you have that groundbreaking idea, if you don't write it down in the first 10 minutes, it's gone, especially with all the distractions we have around today. I know that when I have something like an idea that is begging me to be made, if I don't write it down, poof, it's gone like a fart in the wind. But anyways, let's really consider the meaning of that word draw. Most people hear the word draw, and the first thing that pops up into their head is a clip art of some dude drawing for the funny papers or illustrating a kid's book. But if you look on Webster's, drawing, actual illustration of the thing, isn't until the 13th definition of the word. All the draws before that have to do with something being attracted to something else, or some object being attracted or pulled to a person, such as drawing back a bow, or drawing a card for your hand, or drawing a bath. And drawing water is a pretty old school term in and of itself. People mostly just say take a bath or turn the water on. But if you say draw water still in this day and age, consider yourself the fanciest, coolest person I've ever met. So why don't I say the draw here? It's really all about you and why you want to do what you do. What draws you here? What is constantly pulling you to your hobby that it is convincing you to build a business with it? And why do you desire to practice and practice so much of that skill? The talent or the focus on the skill is not even the main point of the draw here. Because if the draw is strong enough within you and you're willing and open enough to continuously practice that skill, if that draw within you is strong enough, the skills will just come naturally. Put enough time and effort into it, and the actual skills behind the draw will form out of themselves. That classic saying is kind of still ringing true. Practice makes perfect, even though it's kind of evolved over the years. I mean, everyone has their own version of the phrase. Maybe for you, it's something like, practice makes kind of okay, and if you keep going, maybe it'll get better. Or practice takes perspiration. That one's true for pretty much everything. I know for me, at least, it's more like practice develops perfection, but perfection is constantly moving ahead. So you gotta have that draw to pull you in forward, right? Tim Marlowe, the director of exhibitions at the White Cube Gallery in the UK, said this in an art debate about skills in art. You don't need great skill to be an artist. Skill is a component of much great art in the past, but it's not the essential component. The essential components are vision, imagination, intelligence, bravery, originality, exploration, and spirit. Skill is simply a means to discovering these essential components. And with enough time and effort exploring those essential components, the skills will come naturally. If skill were such an essential component of all great art, then all academically trained artists would definitively be great. And that just isn't true. It's all relative, and skill can be taught. You can go into art school, plop down a couple $1,000s, and they will eventually teach you something that you can use and hone in as your own skill. But the essential components, they are essential tools of our human brain that we use as artists to create something great. You have to discover those and how to use those on your own. We will be going even further into what it takes for an artist to create something great in future episodes. Basically, the draw pushes you forward to start creating these unique things for people. It's the desire to make something with those skills. Or for those in the earlier phases of it all, as starting out, it's desire to develop those skills. So we all need the draw, but where do we take the draw? Where do we take that desire to develop to the next level? Number 2, coming at you, it's the drive. The constant commitment that exists to push you to keep going. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes the desire for perfection, which is a constantly moving target. So where do you find the tools necessary to move towards that target? This is honestly where I struggle the most. And maybe you have that problem too. You've just hit that motivational high, you're feeling energized and inspired, you're ready to create. The draw has taken you up, so you're ready to hit that next phase, but then what? I mean, a lot of the art world is followed by those 2 simple words. They have a lot of power and a lot of weight, unfortunately, and a lot of reviews are based on them. Then what? Well, this is where the drive is most crucial. You need to constantly stay in tune to what draws you forward to keep creating, but you need to find out what drives you to follow through with the commitment, to move forward and commit to reaching those goals. If you're doing commissioned work, what is the promise that you've given your customer? Every dollar bill that passes from hand to hand is a promise. I mean, look here, it says right here on this fresh, crisp $1 bill, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Right here, source dollar bill. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. But what is a debt? A debt is something owed. It's an obligation to follow through with what you've promised. A debt is a promise. It's a requirement to pay someone for something owed. So then that alone should motivate you enough to find that drive, right? And it should be enough to motivate someone, especially someone just starting out in the art business. Getting their first payment for their first custom piece is immensely motivating. It's a very powerful transaction, and honestly, it's very nerve-wracking. It kind of feels like every time someone pays me for art, it's like the first time, and I
get really nervous.
But also, on the other hand, some of us who have been creating for years and years, that motivation can wear off. So where now do we look for our drive? Surprisingly, after enough research and soul searching, just looking back on my art career, I've realized there are countless areas to find what drives you. There are countless things to keep us driven. One huge one being deadlines, making that promise more than monetary. Simply giving your customer the promise of time is more motivating than pretty much anything. Remember when you were a kid in school and you had that next due date of the next paper or project you were working on, or supposed to be working on when you were playing PlayStation, and that due date was always creeping up in the back of your head? Yeah, it's like that. That feeling never goes away. Big surprise, kids. That feeling never leaves. But hey, look on the bright side. That due date is now for something that you actually want to do, something you love doing, pursuing your art. No silly term paper on how Western Civ evolved in the 20th century. No project on what can jump higher, the cat flea or the dog flea. Or do woodpeckers get headaches? These are all questions I have circling my mind all day. Especially that Western Civ one. How did we get where we are? Perfectionism is another driving tool for a lot of artists. But it's a fine line between actually wanting to work on your creation and getting the work done, and working on it 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 and working on it.
Some say he is still working on it to this day.
Another drive for you could be future customer-artist relations. One of the more personal driving factors that can actually drive you to create more art for more people is that art can actually make you friends. I know, crazy, right? I actually used to be pretty introverted around most people and most groups, but when I'm out there slinging comics and custom art, I'm a completely different man. Yeah, actually, I feel right at home. And you should realize that the artist community is not just people at a shop just looking to sell and buy art. It's a lot more than that. Many patrons of the arts just want to go out there and talk. Customers love just going out to conventions and hanging out with creators and just talk and shop. Because we're all creators at heart. We love to see all the different techniques and strategies that people are using with their craft. I've honestly spent hours upon hours just chilling with some of the coolest creators and just random customers who want to talk shop. Or just talk about their favorite characters or fanfics or fan art or just anything. But not just the friend making side of it all. It's the fact that you can use that to drive yourself to better results. These friends that you just made will actually constantly show up and show up and show up to support you and your work. If you drive yourself to creating fantastic final products, if you build it, they will come. Another classic phrase that still rings true. So these are only a few things that I found are very helpful in my career for finding that drive. Oh, make a YouTube video. This right here, what you are staring at on your screen, that's another one. Sometimes I like to share what I'm creating online, and a simple Instagram post is just not gonna cut it. I wanna see you as I'm creating my craft, so I'll make a YouTube video or I'll stream it and I'll post it online. It's much more interactive that way. You can learn much more about your favorite creators that way. It's such a driving force to bring us to the next level of what technology can offer us to keep the drive strong. I've found myself recently creating plenty of new YouTube videos as a driving force and using it as a source of motivation. So here's where I ask you, so question of the day everyone, what drives you? When you've taken your draw to the next level, what keeps you going? Leave your answer down below in the comments and I'll respond to each and every one that I see. So then that brings us to the third core element of creating a successful art business. 3 out of 3, here we go. The delivery. Staying true to your word and completing exactly what you say you're gonna complete. But it doesn't stop there. It's also experiencing your part in building the community, because everything you deliver is just another building block of the artist community. Everything you say and deliver to your customers is a part of our community. So you're gonna build something nice for us? Is your building block in our nice sturdy wall, is it gonna be enough to support what you have going up? So you've completed your work, right? With the drive. You found what drove you to reach that final product stage. Then those 2 words kick in again. What's next? What are you gonna do? And it actually strongly applies to our previous elements we've just discussed, the draw and the drive. The delivery. It's not a simple exchange of product from one hand to another. Nope, it's also composed of how you present yourself to your customer and everyone else. When they see you deliver your piece to someone, or when they see that post you made online of that piece, they're the audience. And I don't want this to frighten you at all, but it's the truth. Everything you do and say right about now, if you become an artist in an art business, everything you do and say will be seen as something like celebrity status to someone out there. I'm not saying like you're gonna be famous right off the bat, but your words will matter. And when your art goes public, you go public. So how are you gonna deliver that? Success is attracted to the right character. When your art is delivered, or every post you make about it, the words, the actions, even the eye contact says a lot about the character who delivered it. It says a lot about the creator behind the art. So make this short list of questions to ask yourself. How's the delivery? Does the subject matter make sense? Did you complete a piece that has a theme that aligns with your brand or even your style? It's still a good thing to try something outside the box every once in a while, and a lot of people actually appreciate that with their creators, but you gotta stay true to who you are, where your skill set is, and where it's heading, okay? Because when people see something outside the box, they're gonna be like, oh, whoa, out of left field, come on, bring it back, oh, he's still going. Where is he going? Nobody knows. He's just, sure, he's having fun with it, and then you will discover that your audience has completely changed. The people of your old style who appreciated the old stuff that you used to make are not going to be the same people that appreciate you for always being outside the box or being weird or lighting stuff on fire on YouTube. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you realize that you are creating a theme, you are creating a brand, and it's something that audiences like to cling to. So that's a stupendous amount of your delivery. I know when I'm drawing something or I'm asked to draw something that's a little bit outside my style, I remind myself that it is okay not to post. We could just keep this like under the table art exchange. Not to allude to anything illegal or immoral here. Just remind yourself, sometimes it's okay not to post everything. Just remind yourself of your brand. Remind yourself of your delivery. Some other things you could ask yourself: is my caption worded just right? So whoever sees this sees the creator, and then they are more enticed to want to click that follow button or subscribe button. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet and you like this video, that would be much appreciated. That takes this brand and my delivery to a whole new level. So you guys are the greatest. But what about hashtags? Did you choose the right hashtags to apply to your style and your brand and the theme that you're creating with your art? Nike is not going to use the same hashtags as Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon will say like hashtag slime, hashtag teen choice, or whatever, hashtag victorious, and Nike is gonna say hashtag running, hashtag motivation, hashtag not slime. They're not gonna say slime. But you see what I'm trying to say. Are your hashtags aligned with your theme for optimal visibility for what you want to be placed in? Because people are going to categorize you. They're going to see you and your art and they're going to be like, I like this guy, he does some anime art, I'll expect more anime art from him in the future. Like, subscribe, follow, all that, because they found your brand, they found your delivery to be effective and emotional, enticing, and overall just great and good fun. And believe me, we will get much deeper into the social media side of your art business with future episodes of Entrepreneurs. We're still kind of in the birthing phases here of the series, so baby steps, right? After you birth something, you gotta teach it to walk when it's ready. So baby crawls. We're actually in the baby. No, we're kind of just in the feeding stages right now, so hope you're enjoying the content so far. But all in all, it's always essential for your success to keep in mind the delivery. Because remember this, the final movement is often the most important movement. How can you make this final movement of this finished piece of art have the most positive effect on your career? And think about this, delivery is the first impression your art will have on someone else, but it is the last impression it will have on you. So how can you make those impressions last? There you have it, 3 things total, 3 core elements that every artist needs to succeed. The draw, the drive, the delivery. Make sense?
Okay, hold up a sec. I better call it there before this video gets too long.
I hope you enjoyed this general discussion and breakdown of the 3 core elements that every artist can use to find success when building a business. Be on the lookout for the second part of this discussion where we will actually take those 3 core elements and build them out to an actionable plan we can use to face any challenge you encounter throughout your growth as an artist. If you did find any worth or entertainment with this episode, all I can ask is that you turn that like button blue with a simple click and subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss out. With your support, I'm able to upload a brand new Entrepreneurs episode every week, as well as a lot of fun other zany content. I also want to invite you to leave a comment of what you thought about this episode. This is, I think, the 3rd one so far, so we're kind of getting into the groove of things. I hope you like it. So I'd love to hear from you. To continue this series and get more entrepreneur advice and tools for success, click right up here and it'll take you to the playlist. To get another random JetFalco video, click right here and YouTube will randomly suggest one for you. Click my little mini-me to subscribe, or if you'd like to join the list of amazing people who made this content possible, click right over there. The more people that get on it, the slower I'll scroll it. Here, I'll do one more time. Boom! Those are my patrons. I love them. I appreciate you joining me, Entrepreneurs. Here's to your own cycle of success.